Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, and today's little field trip that we're going on is quite simple. We've been there before. We're delving into the mind of a leftist Karen. Yep, we've all heard of them before. We know the archetype. Well, today we're going to the zoo. We're going to see one in action. You know, there's a couple tropes, there's a couple concepts that we tend to refer to quite often when speaking of leftists. One thing we tend to notice quite often is that leftoids just need an enemy, you know? They're the type of people who need to be convinced that there's some sort of great evil that they're fighting. They've convinced themselves that they're fighting for freedom, fighting for the powerless. They're fighting this evil, big, patriarchal, capitalist entity that's holding them and their peoples down. Of course, it's all just a LARP, and really what it ends up being, at least visually for us to observe, is just some random leftist Karen accosting a random human being in their attempt to signal to the world that they're fighting for freedom. In this case, leftist Karen's public enemy number one, the security guard at a bank building. Yep, let's delve into the mind of the leftist crusader. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so how many times have we seen this exact thing, you know? Ridiculous climate activists blocking the road is a perfect example. You know, they have some sort of issue, I guess, with major fossil fuel companies, and so what do? They stop random construction Joe from getting to his gig. Weather change, BTFO'd. Well, in this case, on the issue of combating Israeli apartheid, this far-left activist goes after a security guard at a random commercial building.
There are other places you can find more.
Actually, the Washington is
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
No.
It is.
No.
So what are you doing here?
What?
What's your job?
I'm security.
So
What's your purpose in being?
what do you think?
What's your purpose in being?
What do you think?
Any illegal occupation?
Oh, that's funny actually, because that's
Yeah.
what Israel's doing. Actually, that's what this presentation is for. Do you support Israel?
I don't support either side in that conflict
You
because it
are
has nothing
actually.
to do with me.
By standing here, you are supporting Israel.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm
Because you're
not. I'm
getting
just
in my
blocking.
way
I'm
and
blocking,
my right
blocking.
of protest.
You don't have a right to
Yes, I
protest
do,
on
actually.
private property.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
That's what you don't understand.
Understand what?
It's private property.
Is it
You have
your
the-
private property?
No, but it belongs
So
to
you have no
a
right to
company.
stand here and block me either.
I represent the owners of the building.
So you represent genocide.
No,
Yeah, you do.
because Scotia doesn't own the building.
Oh, okay. So like
They're,
you
they are
said,
tenants. They are tenants.
so it's not their property to block me from, is it? And it's not your property to block me from.
It is my property to block.
Do you own it? Are you on the deed?
No, but
you pay the rent?
I
Do
work
you
for
pay
the
the mortgage?
company. I work for the company that does own it.
Okay, so you do support genocide.
No,
Well then, why are you standing here blocking me from protesting?
because that has nothing to do with
It does, because you're standing right here. Your
my job.
physicality is stopping me from...
My job is to prevent you from entering.
And for what?
Because it's an
Am I a
illegal
threat?
protest.
Am I a threat? No words? So what is your job here, other than to stop me from exercising my right of protest?
Where do you get right of protest on other person's private property?
This isn't your property, though.
It is private property.
But it's not your property. So what are you doing
I
standing here?
am the legal representative of the property.
Well, you're doing a bad job of it. So you do support genocide?
Nope,
Yeah, you do.
I absolutely do not.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing
Do you
here.
even know what genocide means?
Are you going to lecture me on what genocide is? Well, there's people protesting right inside.
No.
You're kind of embarrassing
No,
yourself,
it's
here,
just-
by the way.
Indigenous, like a residential school survivor's granddaughter, we know what genocide is.
We don't need a white man
That's
here
genocide.
standing in front.
There we go.
Yes,
You
there we
brought
go.
nice into it. That's all you can do is raise
People can do? What is that? What exactly are you trying to say here?
protesters, leftists.
Yes? So you do support genocide?
It's all, no, I do not support
Yeah,
that.
you do.
In the right protested in Ottawa.
Yeah.
But
If
they
I was
shut
an
down the
Israeli here, would
Parliament
you
Hill
allow me in?
for weeks.
You heard me. So you do support genocide? Because otherwise your physical body here would not be standing in the way.
Now, I actually don't even really know the backstory here. It seems as though this was filmed in Canada, of course, the woke Holy Land. Not exactly sure if this is some sort of spiritual, gathering, but supposedly Scotiabank, a Canadian bank, did something wrong. Probably has some sort of connection to Israel, I guess. And so they're protesting the Scotiabank building, or rather a commercial building, owned most likely by a group of investors where Scotiabank happens to be a tenant. And the leftoids, well, they demand to be let into that building. They demand that that private property be opened for them to protest those evil Israel apartheid supporters. And apparently the guy supporting genocide is the guy literally just doing his job at the door saying, no, it's private property, you can't get in, this is my job, you're not allowed in the building. And her response is, well, you're supporting genocide and supporting Scotiabank. To which he very clearly educates her, ma'am, I don't work for Scotiabank, they're simply a tenant in the building. I represent the owners, I work for the owners of this building, and it's my job to ensure that you and your leftist gremlin don't walk on property. It's pretty much the perfect encounter, you know, it really encapsulates everything. The faux outrage, the nonsense outrage at the wrong target, which is generally what we see from these leftoids. They're really angry at Security Joe for supposedly supporting genocide. They want to lecture the whole world. They want to lecture everyone on the facts and reality. They know everything. They're the most righteous, moral of all of us, the most educated, the most knowledgeable. They know everything. And so they're going to lecture us on topics, very complex topics such as, you know, a never-ending, endless war between Arabs and Jews in the Middle East. Except this leftist Karen, who supposedly knows literally everything about geopolitics, doesn't even understand the basic structure of a landlord, a tenant, and how a commercial building works. You know, it's the type of stuff that you learn at a very young age, just having a coherent, competent parent kind of teach you about the world. My dad used to rent office space in one of these kinds of buildings, well, a much smaller one, but still, same thing. You know, a lot of people don't understand that just because your name is on the building doesn't really mean anything. You could be a major corporation with your name on the building, but you're probably still just a tenant paying for, let's say, like 3 floors in rent. And sometimes a perk of being the biggest tenant in a building is they'll put your name on the building, or sometimes you even have to pay for it, especially in high-rise big cities. So yeah, Scotiabank, or the bank in question, doesn't own the damn building, they're simply tenants. And these leftoids, once again, proving their absolute sheer ignorance, especially when it comes to, I don't know, basic things in human life and the way the world works, and especially economics. They prove to the world once again just how ignorant they are. It's the typical, or I guess we could say archetypal, leftist Karen. Blah, 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 ma genocide, blah, 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 ma racism, ma systemic racism, ma blah, 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 ma patriarchy, ma how do taxes work? Oh, I don't know. Ma capitalism's real evil. How does basic capitalism work? What, supply and demand? Never heard of it. Ma, you're racist. Ma, you're the problem. Random used car salesman, you are the face of evil capitalism. You are the face of the patriarchy. Let's protest you. Meanwhile, the problem is, well, pretty much all the people they're voting for. The problem isn't capitalism, it's crony capitalism. It's all the politicians that they trust to solve all of the complex problems that, well, keep getting worse because they elect the politicians who are dependent on those problems getting worse. Meanwhile, angry Karen, who feels as though the world is going to, hell in a handbasket, well, she's isolated the core of the problem, and it's just random business owners. Or even worse in this case, random employees for said business owners. As per usual, another ignorant leftist Karen making the world a better place, huh? Another ridiculous video, I think really putting things into perspective, making it quite clear exactly who we're contending with on the other side of the political spectrum here. A bunch of know-nothing, nonsense, leftist ignoramuses. Anyways, just an interesting video I thought you guys would get a kick out of. You guys usually like these ones. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.